I remember that chilling night like it was etched into my soul. The night I encountered the Wendigo, an ancient horror that defies the laws of nature. I was exploring the dense forests of the northern wilderness, drawn by whispers of an enigmatic creature lurking in the shadows. The legends of the Wendigo had always intrigued me, but I never fathomed the terror that awaited me in those haunted woods. As darkness descended, the air grew thick with an unnatural silence, a foreboding omen that sent shivers down my spine. I pressed forward, driven by an insatiable curiosity, tinged with a tinge of apprehension. The wind carried whispers, haunting murmurs that seemed to echo from the very heart of the forest. A primal fear gripped me, warning me to turn back, but an inexplicable pull urged me deeper into the unknown. And then, I saw it. A figure emerging from the dense foliage, a twisted and grotesque silhouette that froze my blood. Its eyes, hollow and glinting with an otherworldly hunger, locked onto mine, sending a jolt of primal terror through my veins. The Wendigo stood tall, its emaciated form swathed in shadows, its movements unnatural and jerky. Its presence exuded a malevolence that I could feel deep in my bones, a dark force that defied all reason. A paralyzing fear rooted me to the spot as the Wendigo advanced, its unearthly howls rending the night. I felt the ancient evil reach into the depths of my soul, probing my darkest fears and desires. The encounter was brief, but it seared into my consciousness, a brush with an entity that existed beyond the realms of human comprehension. Its haunting cries haunted my dreams, a chilling reminder of the darkness that lurked beyond the safety of civilization. I emerged from those woods, forever changed. The Wendigo's presence lingered within me, a chilling memory that carved its mark on my very being. I carry the weight of that encounter, a haunting tale I dare not share, for the Wendigo's horror defies explanation and comprehension. I've carried this burden for far too long, and it's time you know the chilling truth about my father's demise, a tale that has haunted my every waking moment and stained our family with an unspeakable tragedy. It happened years ago, in the unforgiving wilderness where my family had lived for generations. My father was a resilient man, weathered by the elements, but his spirit remained unyielding. He imparted his wisdom and love for the land upon me, but he also carried a secret burden, the terror of encountering a Wendigo. One relentless winter, when the snow blanketed the woods and the biting frost seeped into our bones, my father set out into the icy embrace of the forest. He was on a hunting expedition to secure food for our family, armed with courage and a rifle slung over his shoulder. As the night darkened, an ominous silence settled over our cabin. Hours passed, and my mother and I anxiously awaited my father's return. But the frigid air carried whispers of an ancient malevolence, and dread clawed at our hearts. At the break of dawn, we ventured into the wilderness, seeking any trace of my father's whereabouts. Instead, we stumbled upon a scene that haunts me to this day. Blood-soaked snow, scattered belongings, and eerie markings etched upon the trees. The signs were unmistakable. A vicious struggle had taken place, a battle against a force beyond comprehension. Claw marks marred the bark, a sinister signature left by the Wendigo, an ancient evil that had claimed my father as its victim. I couldn't bring myself to tell you, to burden you with the horrifying truth of how my father fell prey to an insatiable monster. The terror of that night, the loss that tore through our family's heart, it was a wound too deep to bear alone. The memory of his valiant fight against the Wendigo, the desperate struggle to protect our family, it haunts my dreams and shadows my every step. His absence is a void that can never be filled, a stark reminder of the darkness that lurks beyond the safety of our home. I've carried this weight in silence, shielding you from the chilling reality, of the Wendigo's terror. But now, you must know the truth, for it's a cautionary tale that echoes through our bloodline. A story of a man who faced a nightmare beyond human comprehension. A tale etched in the very fabric of our family's history. We set out to explore the regions where sightings had been reported. Our journey began with excitement, tracing the trails of old stories, interviewing locals, and collecting tales of encounters. The thrill of the hunt consumed us, pushing us deeper into the heart of the wilderness, seeking the elusive creature that lurked in the shadows. But our enthusiasm soon turned to trepidation as the landscape grew unfamiliar, the dense forests swallowing our path. We underestimated the vastness of the untamed lands, and our navigational skills faltered in the face of the wilderness's might. Days blurred into nights as we trudged through the unforgiving terrain, the haunting echoes of the Wendigo stories haunting our every step. The air grew thick with a palpable sense of dread, and whispers of warning seemed to rustle through the trees. It was then that one among us, Alex, began to exhibit strange behavior, withdrawn, with a distant look in his eyes. He spoke of a ravenous hunger gnawing at his insides, a craving he couldn't satiate. At first, we attributed it to the stress of the journey, but as the days wore on, Alex's condition worsened. His once amiable demeanor gave way to a volatile and erratic nature. He grew increasingly paranoid, accusing us of plotting against him, his eyes reflecting an unsettling darkness. One night, as we huddled together in our makeshift camp, a blood-curdling scream shattered the silence. Rushing to investigate, we found Alex covered in blood, his eyes wild with an insatiable frenzy. Horror washed over us as we realized what had transpired. He had attacked one of our friends, driven by an uncontrollable urge to consume human flesh. Desperation and fear gripped us as we tried to contain Alex, but he fought like a deranged beast, his inhuman strength overpowering us. With a sinking realization, we understood the terrifying truth. Alex had succumbed to the curse of the Wendigo, becoming a monstrous manifestation of the very creature we sought. Haunted by the knowledge that our friend was lost to a primal, cannibalistic hunger, we fled into the wilderness, pursued by the transformed Alex. Each night, his haunting cries echoed through the trees, a chilling reminder of the darkness that had enveloped our once innocent expedition. As we wandered deeper into the heart of the unknown, the line between hunter and prey blurred. Our group dwindled, consumed by fear and despair, until I found myself alone, tormented by the horrifying transformation of my friend and the realization that the curse of the Wendigo had claimed us all, turning our quest for truth into a descent into unspeakable horror. I thought I had found my dream home, an old, secluded house nestled within acres of private land, a serene oasis away from the chaos of city life. Little did I know, it was a dwelling tainted by an ancient evil. The first few days were blissful, filled with the excitement of settling into my new haven. But as the nights crept in, so did an unsettling presence that lingered within the house's walls. It started subtly, a rustling in the dead of night, a faint tapping on the windows. I brushed it off as the quirks of an old house, remnants of settling in. However, as days turned into weeks, the strange occurrences escalated. Shadows danced in the corners of my vision, and an inexplicable chill permeated the air, regardless of the roaring fireplace. One fateful night, as the moon cast an eerie glow through the windows, I heard it, a mournful, haunting wail that seemed to echo from the depths of the forest surrounding my property. My blood ran cold as the unsettling sound grew louder, closer. I ventured outside, my heart pounding with a mixture of dread and curiosity. In the pale moonlight, I saw it, a figure, tall and hunched, with elongated limbs and a visage that struck terror into my soul. The Wendigo. Its eyes, glinting with an otherworldly hunger, met mine, freezing me in place. I could feel its ancient malevolence seeping into my bones, an unfathomable darkness that I couldn't comprehend. I stumbled back into my house, desperately trying to rationalize the encounter as a trick of the mind, but the Wendigo's presence lingered, permeating the very essence of my home. Night after night, I would hear its haunting cries, drawing closer with each passing hour. Sleep became a distant memory as the terror consumed me, a relentless onslaught on my sanity. I sought refuge in research, diving into ancient folklore and grim legends. But the more I learned, the more I realized the horrifying truth. I was living on land tainted by the Wendigo's curse, an entity that feasted on the souls of the living. I tried to leave, to escape the malevolent grip of the Wendigo, but it was futile. It seemed to trap me within the confines of my own home, a prisoner to its sinister will. As days turned into an agonizing blur of terror, I could feel myself changing, succumbing to the Wendigo's influence. Shadows danced in my periphery, and a ravenous hunger gnawed at my insides. In a harrowing moment of lucidity, I knew what I had become, the very thing I feared most. The curse of the Wendigo had claimed me, twisting my humanity into a monstrous form, destined to haunt the same land that had ensnared me. Now, I roam these woods, a wretched creature tormented by an insatiable hunger, forever trapped in the cursed cycle of the Wendigo's domain. The haunting cries that once terrified me now emanate from my own twisted form, a reminder of the irreversible horror that has consumed my existence.